Hello, my name is Susanne Wagner and this is a guided buying presentation in SAP Ariba. I already logged in as a user into SAP Ariba. Using my user and password, of course, single sign-on is supported. You can now get started with your search for an item by using the search bar. Let's do that. What you see here is the result of different items in your system. These are all catalog items. The catalog may be loaded by the supplier or loaded internally. You have the control over this process. I will add one of the items into my cart and check this cart out. As you can see, most of the things are already pre-filled by the system. I just have to enter the need by date. These default values are coming from user data or from lookup tables or logic in the system. The idea is that the user has a very lean and easy process with not so many manual input into the system. Let's get an ad hoc request created. For this, I can use the ad hoc item request. I just have to enter the name. I have to choose my category. I can select a supplier. You can also present some suppliers as preferred or recommended suppliers in this case. A description, quantity, and a price. And add it to my cart. Also in this case, for this ad hoc request, all the fields are defaulted like accounting information, general ledger information, and so on, based on the same logic as for the normal catalog request. Let's go a bit to the bottom. As you can see here, I have an approval process generated by the system. This is done based on logic and settings in your system, and it can be defined based on your requirements. You can see I have two approvers, the purchasing agent, because I have an ad hoc item in my requisition, and the supervisor that is responsible to approve the cost of the requisition. I can also add at any place an additional approver. I just have to select and also can provide a reason for this approval. I will for now delete the ad hoc request to keep the process lean. And as you can see, my approval process is also regenerated only with the supervisor in the process. Let's send this request and do in the next step the approval by the supervisor. For that, I log out and log in into the system as the supervisor. Approvers can do approvals either in the system like I will do it, but they also allowed to do approvals over email or use the Ariba mobile shopping app. The Ariba mobile shopping app can also be used to really buy things. The approver clicks on his notification list and then he gets all the approvals that he has to approve. So for now, I will just approve and say it's okay and send it. Let's log into the system again as the requester. As the requester, I can access my requisitions that I've done recently very quickly using on the right-hand side this bar. I just have to click on that and I get the full visibility of my requisition, where it is, if the order was already created, and so on. In our example, the purchase order was created, by the way, just from the system and was now sent to the supplier on the Ariba network. And I will now jump into Ariba network to show you the processes there. But of course, the user can also buy again, so copy this order and buy it again, and so on. There are many functions available additionally to that what I've already shown. Let's go to the supplier and search for the EP31, the purchase order. So this is the Ariba network account of the supplier, where he has an inbox and outbox where he can track his documents, and also of course my purchase order, the EP, the one I have sent it before. So this is the EP31. Let's go to this document. So the supplier is now able to do certain activities. What he is able to do is based on configuration on the so-called transaction rules in your network. So you can push the supplier to send order confirmations or shipping notifications. You can make that optional, or you can also say it's not allowed. And of course, you can now also allow the supplier to send an invoice. I will do that. I send an invoice. And what you see here is the so-called PO flip process. So everything that you have in your purchase order sent to the supplier is flipped into the invoicing document. Things like purchase order number, item number, material number, price, and so on is all flipped. So the supplier has not to care about to type it in again. I only have to enter the tax information. In this example, I get a summary, I see where it has to be shipped to, I have the item with all the data, I can click further and push the invoice back to your company. The invoice now can have different setup. So you can either send the invoice to Ariba, wherein you have the Ariba invoicing process facilitated. In this invoicing module, you can get this invoice now electronically. It is matched with your order. You can have rules, workflows, and so on, configuration in the system to handle the approval and the check of the invoice. That can be done fully in Ariba, and when you're ready, you push this result, the approved invoice, to your ERP system. And there you can do whatever you want. You can approve it again, or book it, or pack it, or whatever you need there. The second process is that you can send the invoice directly to your ERP system, so not using the Ariba invoicing module. And then you also there you have configuration saying what should be done with this invoice in your ERP system. Should it be parked, booked, checked, and all this kind of stuff you then define in your ERP solution. Let's, for our case, going back to guided buying, we have the purchase order also as the requester in view. I can view the purchase order at any time and also check the follow-on documents. So I can also now see the invoice as the requester. That is a very nice process because in this case, the requester and all the parties have the full visibility over the process, including invoice. I see this invoice with the status, and I also can drill down and check the follow-on documents. In my example, this invoice was automatically approved. The reconciliation document was created by the system, and the payment request was also generated. So what you can do is you send in this reconciliation document to your SAP system, you do the payment run and send a remittance advice back to Ariba and back to the supplier. Also for the supplier, that is very nice because then they are informed that the invoice was approved and that the payment is planned for a certain day. So for this you have the full visibility. Let's go back one step to my order. Of course, in Ariba you can do also goods received. For this, the requesters or the responsible persons have an own list with the to receive items. Also with my EP31, with the order I have created before. And here I can receive the item. I can also partly receive it and accept it and submit my goods received. You can configure in your system for what categories you would like to have that, for what categories you may would like to have an automatic receipt. You can also create a receipt based on invoicing, so there are multiple options available. And as receiving process in Ariba is a workflow, You are allowed also to define the person that has to book the goods received in the system. Going one step back to our landing page. So in this landing page, you configure the tiles, the pictures, the names, and so on by your own. And you can also allow users to jump into external systems like your travel management Concur, which you just click on that. You have then your website, and over this link, the users can enter Concur. So that's also nice. So the idea is here, have a central place where the requester can start to buy things, no matter if it is an Ariba item or it might be a travel request. There are a lot of more functionalities. If you would like to know more about guided buying, don't hesitate to get in contact with me. Have a nice day and goodbye.